The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by host and guests are their own, and their appearance on the show does not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.
I would say been strategizing for the last 3 to 4 months or more, really probably since last October with some of the campaigns. I want to make sure that we know, and this is just important for everybody in the community. If you got anybody that's any young potential voters that are getting ready to step into that adulthood from now until November, especially that first week of November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, please get them to come talk to us, come get them registered to vote. Go to WisconsinVoices.org, 414. Actually, you can call us in and let us know if you got anybody that we can tap in and we get you the email, get you to Latoya. She'll make sure you get you right. Anybody in our office is open to assisting and making sure. So if you don't get in contact with one person, you'll definitely get in contact with somebody else who's going to be pretty happy and ecstatic to work with a young individual or any individual that wants to get out in the community and do some work. So again, we want to make sure people tap in and at least know that Wisconsin Voices. I'm at Brian at WisconsinVoices.org, and then we got Latoya at WisconsinVoices.org. Even some of them community events that we got lined up. I'm still looking forward to doing some of the men events that are young men events and young women events that we were scheduled. So, once we get that back going, I think that'll be something because, as you can see, it's been a lot going on where we need to kind of pull in and get back into that mode of getting these young adults back active in the community because a lot of people are starting to always, I don't know if it's since that eclipse, it seemed like the city and the country just been going a little crazy. So I don't know. I do want to say shout out Mr. Homer Blow that we got in the building today. Sir, how you doing? Yes, first time around this job. I do want to just make sure individuals know that you can contact us if you got any questions about any current events or anything that's going on in the community as well. 414-444-5250 if you have any comments or anything you got going on in the community as well. We want to tap in with any of the organizations, and I know we got some partnerships that we are looking to build. Any partnerships that you've seen lately that you excited to work with? And this is one thing I want to talk to you about too as well when it comes to networking. When we got to get something in today as far as a deadline. We got a deadline. We got to strategize something real quick before.
Sure,
day.
no problem. But a lot of partners are doing amazing work in the community. We got one of our partners out of Racine. Just sent me the information about Racine's Juneteenth Day.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have it on the 10th of which will be a Saturday this year.
Okay.
And they're trying to make it bigger and better than they had it last year.
Okay.
I know our organization attended last year and said that it was a nice workable program. And we want to try to make it, if not as big as ours, but just as grand.
Wait, you wasn't with us last? I always feel like you was with that. Yeah, I was there. That one, you know what I like about that Juneteenth? I did like the route. The parade route was pretty decent that they had. It was a beautiful scene. I mean, you started off in that downtown area. I want to say it was 15th Street. Don't quote me. Anybody from Racine may know. But then we moved over and went south. And we went south of, I guess,
West Street.
Yeah, which is it's like their version of Lake Drive.
West Street.
Yeah, beautiful view over Lake Michigan. I mean, we have some really nice, backdrop shots and, how the cliffs and edges, once you get to some of the higher elevated parts in Milwaukee. But, Racine does have a nice, it is as populated as far as houses or businesses like some of our, of course, the marina space where they were at, but he curved off and went to a park. We had a good time. They had organizations through Racine that were representing smaller nonprofits that were coming through. I even reconnected with one of my cousins. I always see her on the internet, but one of my cousins, she's a Jordan on the Jordan side, which is connected through my Adams side of the family. And she was down there with her grandson, and I got to connect with her. So, I mean, it not being Milwaukee and still being able to go to Racine and still see family that, lives in that area. That was cool for me too. So yeah, we had a good time down there. They had food, they had basketball games set up, and the police and fire were active. Everybody was, it was chill. It was real chill. It was a real conservative Juneteenth in a sense when it came to, not a lot of action and loud, banging and stuff all over the place from, outside of the main focus was servicing people and people highlighting, their businesses, African culture and their businesses through Black culture. So I enjoyed that. So yeah, I think we could definitely help them in a lot of places, a lot of areas, just, represent harder. I know Wisconsin Voices always has ideas and, some connections with some organizations here. And not even them, Just Us of Washington County. They want to put something together. And you know what? In Milwaukee, I think supporting other counties who are, have the
are trying to build theirs. I think that's a very good idea because I can say ours is one across the country, if not the longest running, but ours is one of the
biggest, if I'm not mistaken,
Juneteenth that has been running for quite some time now.
What's the exact date here? Does anybody know the exact date? I know it's in the second.
For here?
Yeah, I know it's
June 19th. We do it every
No, I'm talking about the exact date for the first one here in Milwaukee. I know it was in the 70s. This is a video on YouTube.
But it was on June 19th.
No.
On the 19th.
No, I know that. But I'm saying as far as the year.
The
first year that it happened here. I know it was somewhere in the 70s. I did see a video. If you ever go on YouTube, you can see a video from one of the bigger events that I'm sure that might look like it happened maybe.
I was born in the 70s and I've been going to Juneteenth ever since I was of age.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so this one looked like it was around 78, 79. I know a couple, what was their name? The neighbors, one of the Reverend neighbors from, long-standing pastor in the community, and a couple other politicians was on this video I seen on YouTube from it had to be a Juneteenth celebration from, I'll say maybe 78, 79. It was definitely turn of the century, about to hit the 80s, and it was big. I mean, it was a beautiful scene, just like what you see now. Of course, is,
I mean, I don't think I've missed a Juneteenth since I've been old enough to go. And I see it growing more and more each year to where when you take pictures now, you just see the thousands of people out there, thousands. And it's amazing. And they always go back to highlight the end and have the little situations. I don't even want to bring up that because I want to bring up how amazing we as a African-American Black community come together and really enjoy one another. And I'm just hoping that we can get some more the finer foods out there and get a lot of barbecue. But
what you talking about finer foods? What are you thinking about? You saw now you went over to the food topic.
Because you know me, I love food at Juneteenth.
Maybe get some people some ideas into what you thinking is finer foods that you could have at Juneteenth. Maybe this could give a person an opportunity that's listening that may want to bring,
cheeseburger, egg rolls.
Cheeseburger, egg rolls. She said the finer foods, cheeseburger.
No, it's not. I ain't saying that's the finer.
You want a ribeye. You want to pull up and get slices of ribeye.
I know that's
on
not so happy.
It could, it could. I mean, you gonna get your lemonade, you gonna get your corn, you gonna get your nacho bags.
And you gonna get and you definitely gonna get your turkey meat.
Yeah, you gonna get your turkey leg. You
gonna get your real tips.
Yeah. You said finer foods. You want some croissants, eggs, or steak and mashed potatoes.
Like that. What I mean is like different varieties. Like in that case, like when I said the hamburger, egg rolls, cheesesteak egg rolls, jerk chicken, curry chicken.
So you want to see more of the little island-based foods down there, It
different cultures of Black because we're different shades, and we have different cultures here, especially in the
Oh,
inner
yeah.
city. So
Yeah, let's get our Ethiopian groups or Somalian groups,
Ethiopian,
anybody that,
Somalian.
we already giving the dollars, you might as well come support. We pull up, we drop that bread, we go to, the local restaurants here and spend money. Come set up a shop at Juneteenth this year. I know it may not be your independence from your homeland, but we love your food. Yeah, we would love, as your Black, your African American counterparts in Milwaukee, to come get some more, whatever that's not there. Which I haven't been around to see if it's too many different, African restaurants.
I know they did have one next to our booth, an African.
Oh yeah, that was
that food was so good.
Yeah, and I knew the young lady. I knew her from just being out from back in the day. But yeah, it was her and her peoples. They had the food right next to that, the peanut soup.
Yeah,
some curry chicken or something like that, or some type
it
of
was
chicken.
like no, they had something, some type of stew as well. That was really good. They had some type of stew as well. Okay. I see. We are gonna tap into our callers and see 414-444-5250. Let us know what you would like to see at Juneteenth. This is our community event. This is our Independence Day. So and then another thing, why we don't ever do fireworks and stuff like that. We need to start doing fireworks.
You know what? That'd be us contracting with somebody to set up a fireworks show, but
yeah, we can all pitch in and definitely do a fireworks show. Definitely. That's our Independence Day. So
I get a permit for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I just,
we have a caller.
We got a call?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, caller.
Hey, this is Tim. How you doing?
Oh, good, Tim.
Oh, Tim.
Hey, I'm just calling to let you know I did some research. I like to do research. So the first celebration of Juneteenth was in 1971, and so we were one of the first states in North to commence these celebrations of Juneteenth. So,
thank you so much. That's my team. Yes, I knew it was earlier because when I was born, ever since I went, I was a little girl. We used to always go, and actually, we lived on Richard Street, so we lived maybe 4 or 5 blocks from where Juneteenth was. At first, it mainly was from like Center to North Avenue at first. Then it started moving down some and got to Locust, and now it's spreading all the way from near Keith to Center. So yeah, thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate that.
no problem.
And we have our favorite caller. Hey, caller. Hi, Tyrone W.
That makes me feel so special now that you're recognizing me. Like you can't see my smiley face there, but I smile and just so much to be in your presence.
Oh, I love being in yours.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Latoya, and say hi to Mr. Mika for me. Tell her I say get them seminars down because we wanted to have the professionalism on getting them buildings.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she working on getting them buildings for us.
That's right. Get your paperwork in. County exec, mayor, governor. At this point, Mr. Posey at north of 300,000. We need Posey out in front with us too.
All right. Yes, we do. We do.
Of course, Claiborne, he'll fit again on where he is now before he advances to his bigger place there, his bigger spot. Of course, Commander McGee was instrumental in getting him in there, Michael McGee Sr. So yeah, that. But I'm pretty sure he'll lay it out for you as far as what to make out of this for you getting in there as well before moving to higher ground. Very quickly, I just want to say sunshine, blue skies everywhere, breezy, but have a great day, wonderful weekend on this. It just made me go back to our dear beloved Aisha Carr there in the board meeting and all that. It seems to me we go all the way back to McGriff and Peterkin, and it seems to me that's what they came in for, to clean up some of this BS that we're being joggled with now, and I mean all that's in between. McGriff, Peterkin came in to clean stuff up there. We've had all the ones in between, Jarlsna, Thornton, Dr. Howard Ford, another friend of mine there. I didn't meet Darian Driver there, but she gave people raises there, and then she ran over to Michigan. We've got to get this stuff cleaned up because the children and the babies are suffering.
Yes.
So we'll, continue on, with the platform we have here and all the shows. Again, congratulations, Dana World Patterson, coming in, opening up. I'm so joyful for all of you because we need the women to, get us back on track, so we can get this stuff straightened out.
We want to work together as a whole.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Have a great day and wonderful.
You as well, Mr. Tyrone W. Thank you for calling. We have another caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to make a comment about Juneteenth Day.
Yes.
I can remember when it was just a little past up to Garfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it ran all the way up to Green Bay Avenue, and it even extended down there, where they renamed it MLK now, all the way to Capitol Drive. And they used to have black cowboys, and the food vendors were just the people selling food at tables and stuff. And right on 3rd Street, right there where they call 3rd Street MLK. It's a lot of history to Juneteenth Day. And the young man who called in and said 1971, I remember that because there was a couple of babies born in 1971. And Ashley's Barbecue was right on the corner of 15th and Center. And Titonia was still cool, all the business area,
right,
post office and all like that. Yeah, but it's a lot of history to that. People, sometimes they need to check that out and see what Juneteenth Day is really all about.
Yeah, you are correct.
Gathering for food.
I said, yes, you are correct. Because it's really about our independence. It was the last slave free. Yep.
Yeah. And thank you for pointing that out and re-emphasizing that every time you open your mouth, because you seem to be, you know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
And independence and black independence and all like that. But anyway, you have a good rest of the day and have a good weekend, young ladies and gentlemen over there.
Thank you.
You as well. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I like hearing the history of our city and what people have experienced. I was born in 1987. So, just seeing, the long-standing Juneteenth, thriving in our cities, and then people coming from out of town. And I've even had, my friend Ashley, sweetheart Ashley, she didn't came, and experienced it. And I'm sure that was probably one of the largest Juneteenth celebrations.
Yeah, because that day when I talked to Ashley, she said from her hometown that they didn't celebrate them like that.
Yeah.
Like they did here.
Yeah. And there's a lot of
said she was excited about seeing it because they didn't heard about ours before.
Yeah, other cities with, big black populations, they have pretty big Juneteenth parades and events, but we've been holding it down and showing, other cities, pretty much the structure for it. And, other cities have different unique talent shows and concerts and things that I have seen. But that day, it's a beautiful experience in Milwaukee. It's an opportunity for you to network. It's an opportunity for you to try people's food. It's an opportunity for you to, get out there and celebrate, just life and the freedom that we have,
And it's the
biggest family reunion.
Family reunion, biggest class reunion. You see people, you see family.
Oh, for real. You walk past somebody, you see their side profile, and you ain't seen it in about 15 years. But I've definitely seen about 5 people I hadn't probably seen it, and then it was, got to think about that was 2023. So, we had the pandemic going on, 2019, 21.
And we still had it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people some people are like, nah, I'm not going out. So a lot of people decided to make that 2023 Juneteenth one of their first times really going out. Some people, that was really their first time even going into the mix of Juneteenth. Like, I remember back when it got real hot for a second, when I was like 19, 20, and they would have the cops. So 06, 07, they used to have the cops sitting on top of the buildings and all that. I really started fading away from it. I didn't really attend Juneteenth for a while after that.
But a lot of us kept going because that's the one thing that we want to keep going, and we don't want to highlight that craziness they do at the end. And I'm glad we still pushing to keep that that festival open for us, because like they took African American World Festival, a lot of different things that that highlighted the Black culture, and I'm glad that we kept that going and kept it going strong. And I know exactly what you talking about when you had snipers on top of buildings and stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. This is the biggest, I can actually say that that is the biggest block party in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for over 40 years. No, say 50, over 50 years. That's been the biggest block party in Milwaukee. Our people really show up. Every year get larger and larger. Like I told you, ever since I've been going, I've never missed one. And God, knock on wood, God's will, I won't miss it if I can help it. But everyone has gotten larger and larger. You see a lot more people, you see a lot more vendors. You have the music stages, you have the car show in the morning. So all the nice cars come through. So antiques and model cars. So we have that whole day really highlights on how our culture is. Everything about our culture, what we grown to love, what we grown to celebrate, is a really, really, really special event for me. That means Juneteenth. I just love it. It's one of my most favorite summertime events. That is one of and the second one is Garfield Days, and also Bronzeville Days. Starting, I see both of those are staying strong, running strong. So we can honestly say that when we want to do something and when we want to come together and enjoy each other, we can do that. And we really know how to keep that in the fight, because a lot has went on. I'm talking about years back to back, and we still has never let them take that from us.
Catch Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
So, for me, I'm real big on just, our city and us being, vigilant and being aware of what's going on in our city. And there's a lot to talk about, but, I'll just talk about what the reckless driving, as we like to, promote. And I think that we as an organization and as a community need to continue to find ways to, combat this and educate individuals, because it's not even just the young folks that's doing it. I'm telling you, I'll be at the light and somebody that got a long beard and maybe he's probably 30 years my elder, maybe 25, 30 years my elder, may be in the bus lane about to make an erratic move, because the culture has been,
the need for speed
has been placed on them to respond that way. I didn't even see, just real quick, as I was just going through and just highlighting TMJ4 for the article, but we was voted as, or we was just ranked as one of the 16th worst drivers in the nation as of last year. And I didn't even know it was 16. I know we was up there. I'm sure anywhere between.
I'm surprised we ain't won in the top 10.
You got to think. I'm like, oh, I don't even want to look at who number one, but you got to tell.
Ollie, New York,
and remember back in the day when
or Los Angeles.
Yeah, for real. Well, I would give it to
or Chicago.
Give it to Houston. Houston got crazy drivers, because I've been there and experienced crazy drivers there. Los Angeles is high up there because they have those major high speed chases. It's going to be any of the cities that got long stretches of highways, like a Florida. So it's got to be one of those Florida cities as well. But I remember back in, when I was younger, Milwaukee was like a smooth driving city. People you would go to Chicago and critique them like they don't use their signals and they don't do that. But now you look here, everything under the sun, you name it. Even last night, that tragic accident that happened, 2 tragic accidents on Capitol last night. It was one in the morning, right in front of Chicago Subs. And there was another one right on the other side, further down the street on 35th. And both those individuals succumbed into those injuries and those accidents. And the one last night was so crazy. Now that I'm seeing the reports, and El, you might have seen it, Carver, you might have seen it, LaToya, if you haven't seen it yet, and Minister, if you haven't seen it yet. But the person hit the car, knocked the bus, and from the reports of the people that was at the scene, one person that was on the bus stop got hit underneath the bus and went underneath the bus. But the individual who succumbed in the driver's seat, there was a video showing him in there, in his last state. But and these were all the individuals that were in that car were in their latter 20s or 30s. So, this is an issue not only with people whose frontal lobes should be developed, but also individuals. For people this is an individual issue for people who don't have developed frontal lobes, but also individuals who should have developed frontal lobes, and they're still acting like kids and doing reckless light running. But yeah, we got a call.
We got a caller, and then we got a guest. So let's get the caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How you doing?
I was just listening. Yes, sir. Just listening to the brother. He was talking about reckless driving.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I've been driving since I was like 15 and a half or something like that. And I also was a part of a driver's ed course at Vincent High School. We had simulators.
VRs.
So we went out on onto the campus, and the instructor taught us how to drive on the campus of Vincent High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that during that time there were a lot of things that were taking place. I don't know, probably after we left that school, they probably didn't have driver's ed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I not too long ago, about maybe a year or so, had to reacquaint myself with driving skills. So I took a class again over at I think it's the place on Third Street. I forget the name of it. It's Black Run, Urban League or something like that. And I passed. I got a 94 on my driver's test. But anyway, here's what I wanted to say with that. Milwaukee has become overrun and has been overran by people from Chicago.
Yes.
Who were savage, absolutely berserk, crazy as hell. Then they took root in Milwaukee. Then they replicated themselves by having children. And so that mentality that they were possessed of, they brought it over here into Milwaukee. I remember it. I saw it all take place. People from Chicago came over to Milwaukee and ruined Milwaukee because
they came from a lot of different places.
That's bull crap.
They came from a lot of different places. Yeah, Chicago. Yeah,
the majority of the people that populated or started the population, the black population of Milwaukee, came from the South.
Yeah, from the South.
Chicago. Yeah. In the 90s. And when they were giving out welfare checks for ladies having 8, 9 children, when those people got word of that, and I don't give a damn who gets upset about it, I'm telling you what I saw. They came from Chicago. They came from Chicago. They came with that berserker mentality. They came here and overwhelmed the black population here. And now you got people who started in Chicago and uprooted themselves for whatever reason. Maybe they were running from Chicago. They couldn't make it in Chicago, but they came here and caused all of these problems. Then they had children, progeny. And since their parents didn't have any idea of what being civilized was, they reproduced themselves.
Yeah,
and there you go.
Yeah, so
how about that?
I understand.
Thank you so much, caller. Hold on 1 second.
What's up?
Wisconsin Voices do not promote the views.
The views of our
callers.
Yeah.
People have a right to voice their opinions, but that is their opinions. Is not the views of Wisconsin Voices. That's all. I just had to make. We get that disclosure out there.
Yeah, I mean, people know for the most part. You can't really say can't really control what people say when they call in, but also the views. How you see what happens with that. That's a whole nother topic. And people have come from all across the country and I know because I worked in the food share program where I had folks from New Jersey, Philly, Mississippi, all parts coming here from, and
From
this
the
the last
South.
5-6 years. So yeah, the
Mhm.
Chicago part, yeah, I could go dig into that, but we already know what it is when it comes to people, uprooting from other cities and coming to smaller Midwestern cities or cities. Look what Milwaukee did.
for their human resources.
Because Milwaukee goes to Arizona and all the other cities like
Yeah.
that's 25, 30 years. Milwaukee was going to Arizona before
They got
it was
a
popular.
big festival in Arizona for Milwaukee.
It's so popular now. They everybody reminiscing. Don't you see all that now? Yeah,
My sister do.
I got two. Look, my little sister,
And four of my nieces and nephews.
Nicole, my sister out there. Yeah, I got family for real.
I
Yeah,
don't think that's crazy. 3 of us in this room got
First
family
cousins.
members there.
we all three was going out there right now and be straight.
Straight.
Even if we had
telling
you don't got no place to stay, I got somewhere for us. We should.
For real.
I got no place to stay. We straight.
We straight.
Yeah, we just gonna go to a hot stop. Right. Maricopa, we got Gilbert, we got West Phoenix, we got some new build areas. Right, Glendale.
For real. But we're gonna take this next caller, but let me introduce our hi caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have to commend that young man on what he said, but at the same time, what I'm going to say is this. We have a lot of young, irresponsible drivers out there on the road. They don't have license. The cars are not registered. There's no plate.
No insurance.
They're under the influence of everything but Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah.
They're jumping the curve. They're hitting people on bus stops. They're doing everything but driving. There's a difference in driving and guiding a car. And 90% of them are guiding a car because they have no education on road mannerism. And what I'm going to say is this, these dealerships that are selling these cars to some of these people that don't have any license, but they got a couple dollars or they've got a tax refund, there should be some kind of legislation written. If that car is in an accident and there's a fatality, go back to that dealer. Why are you selling a car to somebody that doesn't have a license, but they got $5? And then they come down the street and you got 4 or 5 people that's injured because you got an idiot with a blunt in his mouth, something to drink, can't think, don't know how to read the signs, but he got car keys.
Yeah, you got a good point, because even with on that, I can say with you, when they do sell these cars to them, they have to have a person with license to drive them off their lot, just off their lot.
And insurance.
Right. So why, if you need a driver to drive it off your lot, then that should be a like you said, legislation put in there that you should only sell a car to someone that has license.
Thank you, sister. You all keep talking. I love your show.
Thanks.
There's a couple other things that I was looking at as well before we bring in Mr. Another thing I was saying that insurance analysts noticed that how bad the driving was out of a new study that came from Quote Wizard, which is a part of Lending Tree, found out that Milwaukee was #1 in country for speeding compared to 70 other major cities. 70 other major cities. Milwaukee has the highest rate of, and this is a quote, Milwaukee has the highest rate of drivers cited for speeding, which, obviously speed is one of the leading causes of traffic fatality. What we say about the 2 on Capitol yesterday, the guy hit that tree in front of Chicago subs, and then the one on 35th in Capitol, which we know obviously speed is the leading cause of traffic fatalities nationwide. This is a Rob Batt, an analyst for Quote Wizard. And on top of that, he said Milwaukee and Madison rank in the top 20 for worst drivers. So Madison is in this too, in America. Analysts found that by looking at crash reports, speeding tickets, DUIs, like she stated, and citations, the study shows Milwaukee and Madison had some of the highest incident rates in the country. So, and then we see that incidents every day. We see that. It's not lying, like we don't see accidents more than we've seen accidents. But yeah, I just wanted to top that off and just, make more awareness. And if we talk to anybody that we have young adults, young kids, anytime I got a chance to talk to them, take the driving serious. I took mine at South Division, like the caller said, he took his at Vincent, and I went through the driving tutorials. We seen the car accidents, and I grew up in an era where we had DVDs like Faces of Death. So you already knew how to play and drive with cars, because Faces of Death wasn't no joke. Look,
Okay, yeah, I feel what you said, Brian, but we want to get our guests on because we don't have much more time. So Yeah, we got to do it in a brick. So we would like to introduce our one of our great partners that does amazing work in the community. And I will let you introduce yourself.
Minister Greg Lewis, and I am the founder and president of Pastors United, also the president of Souls to the Polls, and chairman of the board of Power to the Polls. A lot of people don't know about Power to the Polls being part of what we started with our organization, Souls to the Polls. And Power to the Polls is actually our C4 partner in getting out the vote. And C4 and C3, I guess you guys know, but maybe the listening audience doesn't know, is C4 can kind of advocate a little bit tougher than C3 organizations. And in some spaces, you can also endorse a candidate. So, you know, that's kind of deep. And that's who we are. And, you know, it's, you know, you got to have all angles going on now, because this is going to be a tough time for our country, our state, our city. You know, we just had city elections, and, you know, the good thing about that is that on a rainy day, you still was 32% of eligible voters voted. That was crazy. And it's usually like 11%, you know, so, you know, it's like 300% increase. So Milwaukee, man, give yourselves a hand. But now we got work to do, and we got to work on getting people out in August and November. And, but in the meantime, you know, we got work to do because we still have like housing issues. I mean, people still are, you know, paying huge amounts of money for renting dumps.
Yeah.
You know, and we gotta resolve that situation. We need to increase home ownership. Those things have to be, you know, really, really concentrate on, and we have to focus on how we're going to do that. And the other thing is all the medical facilities leaving our city.
Yeah.
No, we really have a problem with medical desertry. You know, folks are leaving the city, and people who don't have transportation are finding it very difficult to, you know, get to services when they need them. So we still have other things we need to be working on, and always working on that suppression. We do that with you at Wisconsin Voices. And, you know, certainly we have a big fight coming up with drop boxes. And people probably don't really know what that drop box thing is all about. But let me try to explain this very quickly.
Yes, please.
See, drop boxes are those boxes that when you have absentee ballots, now I got to tell you what absentee ballots are. That when you can't get around, or you have an age issue or disability issue, you can call for absentee ballots from the city, from the state, and you can fill those ballots out and you can mail them in. You can mail your votes in, but they have to be in before 8:00 on the day of the election.
Right.
And now where they get us is when we procrastinate. And if you don't send that absentee ballot in through the mail in time, and it gets there at 8:01, your vote won't be counted.
Right.
But we used to have a situation where we had these boxes by the libraries. At each library was what we call a drop box. And if you didn't mail it in time, you could say, you know, hey, get me over here by this drop box. You could put it in that box, and people would come around and collect it as long as you had it in that box by 8:00 the day of the election. And, you know, that's very, very important because, you know, in 2020, you know, we were voting for a Supreme Court justice. And, you know, we at Souls to the Polls, you know, we joined other organizations in suing to get the election date changed because of COVID. Almost died of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, so my name was on the lawsuit, and the lawsuit went all the way to the Supreme Court. They didn't change the date of the election, but what they did do that was very important is they counted about 40,000 absentee ballots that didn't make it in time they counted those ballots, and we got a Supreme Court justice that I'm nonpartisan. We got a Supreme Court justice that really helped the needs and the city where we live and the territories we live in. I'm trying to put it nicely, but those votes were counted. Those votes came out of our part of town, right? And look now, look, we got another Supreme Court justice, and we're about to get those drop boxes back,
Right.
because when we had a very conservative Supreme Court in Wisconsin, not the U.S., but Supreme Court in Wisconsin, all those things all the voting issues were leaning towards conservative agendas.
Mhm.
But now the court has been balanced in another direction, and things are starting to, be handled with a little more care, and a little more fairness is involved in making decisions about our voting. So it's important that people understand what these drop boxes are all about, because it made a huge difference. If we hadn't got that Supreme Court justice back in 2020, this Supreme Court justice that was just elected would not have made a difference.
Correct.
So drop boxes were important. I hope people understand, the power we have in this community, because most of the state is split right down the middle. Our Caucasian brothers and sisters, and we make the final decision.
Yeah.
How much power do you want? That's like huge power.
Yeah.
That's why it bothers me when they say our vote don't count. Like, come on.
I tell them all the time.
Why you think they flood our city during elections?
I try to tell the young adults all the time, like, if I could just get, I'll stand in front of like 10 to 15 of them, and there'll be 2 of them that don't vote. I was like, if we get the other 11 and 12 of y'all, 13 of y'all to vote, and then other groups across the city that's like this, a lot of things could be shifted in the way that y'all want to see things that will be beneficial for you in the years that's coming down the line. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Real quick, I just had a question for you. 414-444-5250 if you have any questions for Minister Lewis. I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
Mr. Lewis, when you getting started with just getting out in the community ahead of election, what are some of the things that you do to get yourself prepared or your team prepared, when it's time to, get out there and, activate all your, organizations and the volunteers, et cetera? What are some of the things that you like to do? What are some of the things that your team does to prepare for that?
There's 3 major initiatives going on right now. There's texting, and there's phone calls, and, of course, fundraising.
Right.
Yeah, look, you love that one, though, too.
Yeah, but you gotta pay for those canvassers, for those free rides to the polls.
Yeah. And the canvassers, to me, are the most important people in our state right now, because those are the people, and we do that. We're doing that right now through our Power to the Polls organization. These people, and they're young people, mainly young people. These young people knock on doors all over the state. Now, that's a serious, serious responsibility.
It is.
And people don't really appreciate that, these probably are the most important people in the world right now. And I'm going to tell you why, because if it had not been for those young people and those folks, it's all ages, but we get young folks, knocking on those doors and doing all that walking. Man, listen, the state was won by 20,000 votes for governor. Now, if you don't think these young people made a difference knocking on doors all over the state, you got another thought coming. Even the presidential election was won by about 20,000 votes here in Wisconsin. If you think knocking on those doors didn't make a difference, that was a huge, man, these people are the most important people, and we don't give them much regard, man.
Right.
And, I tell them every time I get a chance, I say, you're the most important people in the world, because if we don't handle things right here in Wisconsin, this is a pivotal state. This is probably the most battle-torn state in the election now. I don't know. I know that. I'm
Yeah.
quiet, but I'm talking to people.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is the state, man. If you lose Wisconsin, it's over.
You lose the
Oh man.
yeah, you lose. If you lose Wisconsin, you pretty much lose the presidency, the control. So I came from. That's what I came from, and I've been knowing you for years before I even ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a newbie. But I'm learning a lot from Latoya. She definitely.
But I honestly,
I've been down there. I remember I did one of my first events with you when I met you when we did the registration, the press conference, September of 2022. We were out on Martin Luther King in front of the statue.
Yeah.
That was my first event.
I've been working with him, Souls to the Polls, for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Over 10.
Yeah.
And I used to always say that a lot of people, they make it seem like canvassers are just like the worst job. And I'm like, I love being a canvasser. Just let me go out there and talk to people. I'm good. I want to tell people, I want to get them this information.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The three pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
So we want you to continue with what you were acknowledging and giving the knowledge to the people with, giving them nuggets.
Yeah, I just want people to appreciate those canvassers, especially for real to your door. When they come to your door, at least give them opportunity to give you the information that you need so that you can be knowledgeable about who's representing you and how you can change that representation if you don't like it. And if it's cool, then you can keep the representation, but you need to know to make decisions. This ain't just about elections with our Souls to the Polls and Power to the Polls and Pastors United. Man, we're talking about building a block of people that work together all the time to work on things like housing, to work on things like the medical situation in our city, to work on things like voter suppression.
I don't think they understand about the medical situation. We have two bad hospitals, but if one of them want to leave because they don't even want to support St. Joseph, don't even want to support the community anymore, and then you would only have St. Michael's in the inner city. And if anybody, as much as these people drive reckless, they should use the reckless driving examples, for example, and people get into an accident. Look how far you got to take them to a hospital. If not Freighter, Memorial, West Allis Memorial, St. Luke's, or either St. Mary's, which already is basically carrying the load of this whole city already right now. So it's a serious conversation to have.
It is. And what is so dreadfully hurtful is that these communities are communities that probably don't use the medical services like they should.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the disappearance of these institutions, you'll see even more difficulties in our health life than we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a diabetic. I'm like, wow, why I got diabetes? It's in my neighborhood. It's all around me. Heart conditions, high blood pressure. What is this about? And then, some folks just want to come and they just want to do research. I'm like, research. I mean, we have a problem with that because the medical institutions have not treated us kindly in the past. Name it. You got
experiments.
I went to experiments first.
Experiments.
So you try to
protection of all types, all across the country, all across the world.
And then you see them like really alienating you first of all, and then disappearing from your community. I'm like, who really cares?
Right.
I mean, so what we're working on, man, we try to get mobile clinics, and we're even working with a organization to try to get a clinic built right in our community that'll go along with the clinic on King Drive and the one out on Fond du Lac. See, those clinics are very, very helpful to folks right now. And it's important that people understand and know that it is a very, very expensive proposition to go to a clinic or hospital.
Yes.
And if you don't have insurance, man, I mean, we see, we could do something about our situation.
Right.
But, we just sit around. Most of the times we just let things happen to us. I'm like, hey, man, I always use the example about, the Road Runner. People kind of old, all the people know what it is. You're too young, man.
You don't know Wile E. Coyote running. And was Six Flags attendant, so and avoid it anyway.
He used to always try to drop that handball on the runner's head. Road Runner be going away. BB.
Some of my first cartoon violence was right there. And Tom and Jerry.
But we ain't like the Road Runner. We stand there, we just let the album fall on us.
Right on the head.
Like, hey, man, get out the way, man.
That's all
we have been trying to recover.
Yeah, man. But listen, we have the power with our vote. And I'm so glad you guys had me on. I am so very, very thankful for you having me here today. And this time is valuable. And when I was asked to come, I said, yeah, I'll come. Because NOV is like the news station at our city for this side of town. If you want to know what's going on, man, you got to listen to WNOV.
Yes, you got too many great people coming through.
We got one more caller.
So we got catch it real quick before we get off the air. Caller real quick.
Yep. Hi, caller.
Hi, how are you? This is Judge Taylor.
I knew that. I seen you. I seen your number.
What's going on, Judge Taylor?
Hi, how are you all today?
Very good. How are you?
I am doing well. I wanted to speak about two things today. One, I wanted to talk about when you have a case and you're going to court, whether or not you should have representation or not. I'm going to make it short.
I know some, I don't mean to, but we only got 2 minutes.
15 seconds.
Yep.
One, you wouldn't go to brain surgery without a surgeon. Don't go to court without counsel. Stop saying that a public defender is a public pretender. They often have the most training, and you need to spend time with your attorney. And last thing, show up in court. Not like you rolled out of the bed, but like you're going to impress someone, because ultimately that person is going to judge what should happen in your life.
Thank you so much, Senator. Judge Taylor.
Judge Taylor.
And she's like you going to a job interview. She right. She right. But thank you guys for listening to us today.
And opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices, but are those of the host and guests of this particular show, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsements or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org. Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.